my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds of sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, my friends. I am truly glad you're here on this September 30th, 2024 live stream number 178. It's good to see you. And first thing I want to say tonight is just mentioning if you are a victim of Hurricane Helene or have friends or family or anyone out there, just want to say that we're thinking of you and that just hoping that you're safe and that well, it was just a lot happening there, a lot of disaster, and we'll talk about that tonight a little bit more as well. But I do want to welcome you here tonight. We've got our friend Austin Roberts from LogOx who's going to be joining us momentarily. We're going to get right into it shortly because we do this 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday. And when we have a guest on, there's always a lot to talk about, and it's always a lot of fun. So we want to make sure we get to that very soon. But I do want to mention that if it is your first time here, first time at the live stream, there's a interactive live chat. So if you're watching from YouTube or Facebook or also Instagram, say hi in that live chat and let us know it's your first time here. And let me know how you found the channel. Was it YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok? Now, we are streaming live to 3 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, Instagram is not quite as interactive. So if you do want to interact with the live chat, hop on over to Facebook or YouTube. Plus, later on, we're going to be doing a sticker giveaway, and Austin's going to participate in this too. So you want to stick around for that. We'll be doing that later on. And the way that works is you have to be watching from YouTube or Facebook for that to work as well. Anyway, with that out of the way, I do want to, again, welcome you here tonight. A lot of folks in the comments. One thing I want to mention, again, especially if you're new to the live stream, we're going to be taking questions for Austin. So if you do have a question, maybe for me, for Austin, in the live chat, post your question in this format with the word question followed by the question. And then that helps it stand out and we can see that a little bit more. Other than that, sit back and we'll have a good time. We're going to bring Austin on here in just a moment. But first, if you're not familiar with the LogOx company, they have several products for the wood processing, I would say, industry, but a lot of us are not in a business or industry. We're part-timers or homesteaders, and we cut and process firewood, and LogOx sells some great tools to help with that. So here's just one example of that. We'll show you this and then bring Austin on as soon as it's over.
Get more done, faster, safer, and easier with a revolutionary LogOx 3-in-1 forestry multi-tool, featuring a patented design that takes the back pain out of tree work. Proudly manufactured in the USA from American steel and guaranteed for life. As the most versatile forestry hand tool on the market, LogOx combines 3 essential tools into one, providing everything you need to handle a down tree, from roots to leaves. This modular tool is the force multiplier that every woodsman needs. It's easy to transport, quick to set up, and delivers a huge mechanical advantage to anyone working with a chainsaw, log splitter, or portable sawmill. Most importantly, the LogOx reduces wear and tear on your body. Its unique ergonomic design has been scientifically proven in a published university study to reduce back strain by up to 93% while moving logs. So cut out the back pain, work more efficiently, and boost your productivity with a LogOx.
And there's Austin. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good to see you, Ed.
Force multiplier. That was a big term used in there. It's the force multiplier.
Yeah, that's a bar military term.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So it's something that we added to our copy.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah, I
listen,
mean, force multiplier is basically anything that you can incorporate into something that you're doing that's going to allow you to get more out of it, and so we'd like to think of our tool that way as well.
what a perfect term then.
Yeah,
So, listen, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. I know you're a busy guy. You've been traveling, and it means a lot that you're here tonight to talk to us. And we want to learn about not only the LogOx, but about you and your background and your future as well. Your background, where you are today, and what's happening in the future, because you have a lot of things going on. So, I do want to thank you for that. Um, you are Austin Roberts, co-founder of LogOx. So tell me, before LogOx, you were sharing with me offline that you spent some time in the military, and that kind of brought you to this point. So can you tell me a little bit about your military background, and then we'll go forward from there. Unless you want to go back further in time than that.
just talk about your childhood. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Well, I could actually, because it is kind of past as prelude, right? So I grew up in New England with my family, my mom and dad. We split every fall. It was just sort of the tradition. My mom and dad and my sister and I, ever since I was, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 years old, and could operate the log splitter and move logs around, would go out in the woods and harvest our own firewood. We grew up in New Hampshire and then Vermont. And everywhere we went, we had a wood burning stove that was kind of a primary heat source for us for the most part. And that was always just a tradition that I really enjoyed. It's a chance to work outside, the beautiful, crisp New England fall air, and be with your family. And it really brought us together. And then it's one of those things where you see the direct benefit of your work, right? You're sitting around enjoying a nice roaring fire that's keeping you warm. So to me, it was really kind of a grounding sort of experience as a kid, and taught me a lot of values like hard work and discipline and doing all that. And those are lessons that I think they're important for a lot of kids to get growing up and doing that kind of work with especially with their family. So I at 18 got out the house, went to college. I did ROTC at Georgetown and got a commission into the Army as a field artillery officer. And, but mom and dad were still home doing firewood. And my sister was a little bit local, but she then eventually moved away to college. And so he still had all this firewood. So I tried to go home, but I was, deployed or far, far away. And, so he needed to figure out a way to help him move those log rounds, especially from the ground to the splitter. So as you saw in the video there, that's one of the main purposes of the tool, being able to grab a log round off the ground, pick it up onto a log splitter without bending over and hurting your back. And that was the tool that he played around with for 5, 6, 7 years, just trying to try different prototypes. And he was eventually able to figure out the unique handle design that we were then able to patent, because it is unique, that allows you to lift log rounds and have it lock in place every single time, and be able to pick up those log rounds and put it onto a log splitter. So he took that idea. He was a chemical engineer by trade, and a story that probably a lot of people can relate to. He was a C-suite level executive type, was running a company, a small company, but he basically had another company buy them out, and through an M&A process, just took all the leadership out, brought in their own, and all of a sudden at 60 years old, he's out of a job. And looking for something to do in his next step in life, as a 6-year-old guy. And at the time, I was transitioning out of the military myself after having served 8 years on active duty there, and was looking for sort of my next chapter. And I came back in the fall time. I was working with him, and he said, "Hey, let me show you. Let's go split some wood, and I'll show you this new tool I've got going." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so anyway, he brings out this prototype that at the time was like flat steel. And so he was able to just grab these log rounds and showing me how you pick it up and put it onto the split. I'm like, Dad, what the heck was this when I was growing up and I was doing this? It's like, well, I didn't need it then because I had you. So, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So he came up with this. He put his engineering background sort of to work, and he'd patented multiple products himself. So we do kind of that process. And so anyway, so he came up with this. I said, Dad, this is really cool. Like, we need to find somebody to manufacture this with it for us. And we could make a business around this, we're both kind of looking for sort of that next thing. And we could do this as a side hustle when we find other jobs, right? That would be cool to do. So, anyway, yeah, we refined it further. And that sort of, as I was transitioning out in December 2016, we kind of put our heads together and thought of some ways to modify it. So we added a handle to it, so that extension. So now it becomes a cant hook, which is kind of what it looks like in the first place. So you have two cant hooks. You have a 21-inch cant hook, and then now we have a 40-inch cant hook. And we took it from plate steel to tubular steel. So it's a lot stronger. Then we could add attachments to it, like a picaroon attachment, and some other stuff that we're working on right now. And then we added a timberjack to the bottom of it. So now it became this sort of 3-in-1 tool that you could take apart, put it into a bag, and then it's also the most portable forestry tool of its kind in the market as well. And which we then in 2022 did an upgrade and did 5 different upgrades to it, including a new, which is now patented, timberjack design, which is totally unique. It's called the Bigfoot timberjack. It's got a flat bottom to it, so it doesn't sink into the soft ground. Because that's some of the feedback that we got was that people wanted. So we put our heads together and came up with that design, and we now share. My dad and I share a patent on that too. So it's been a lot of fun, and it all came out of sort of necessity, if you will. Because by 2017, we
it sounds like he should be here.
He should be. Yeah, we'll get him on next time. Yeah,
we should have brought him on too.
Yeah,
maybe we'll do that another time. So I've used the product. Obviously, I've made some videos about it. I've featured in a few videos, and I have to say it really does work. And what I like about it is that it's pretty basic design. I know there's a lot of engineering into it, but it's very basic, but yet it really functions just as you talked about. My back has bothered me since I was a teenager, and I just kind of ignore it until I can't ignore it anymore. But the times I've used that tool, just by being able to lift from waist height or without all the bending, I can tell you at the end of the day, it's an incredible difference in the amount of your stamina and pain. I mean, I'm not going to lie, my back hurts anyway, but you can't avoid hard work. But boy, it really cuts down on that bending and lifting and pinching, and it's a pretty brilliant product. I give you credit for that, especially with the multi-tool aspect of it, being able to use the cant hook to turn the logs over. I'm not digging my chainsaw into the dirt anymore because I can raise that log up off the ground. There's just a lot of thoughtful features in what appears to be a relatively basic tool, but there's a lot of function going on there.
Yeah.
And
no, absolutely. And I saw Ken had a question there about how big of a log round can it pick up? And to your point, one of the things it's sort of the design is in its simplicity, right? It opens up. There's no springs or anything that could kind of break. It's just kind of it's a smart, dumb design, as I like to describe it, because it's literally just cantilevered force that John was able to figure out the proportions of and design it properly. But it literally as large of a log round as you can pick up, because the tip of that hook and the toe of it are so much sharper than really anything else on the market, because it needs to use the weight of the log to lock it in and bite into the pulp. As large of a log round as you can pick up with 2 hands, you can lift with that. And for some of the larger stuff, you can also lock it into the side and drag it, as you may have seen me do in the past. But
sure.
Yeah, no, it is. And to your other point too, we had a lot of people who were, and you saw it in the video there, saying the same kind of thing. I mean, we have over, I think about 2,200 reviews on Amazon, for instance, averaging about 4.8 stars or so. And so we had a lot of people say, saves my back, feel a lot better at the end of the day. A lot of great anecdotal evidence, which we certainly appreciate. But we wanted to be able to quantify that, right? To have it be able to put a number to it. And so anyway, so we reached out to a professor at Fairfield University, who a friend of mine knew, who was in their mechanical engineering department, also like specialized in ergonomics. And we were able to have them do a sort of a semester-long project with their engineering students to be able to test and then quantify using EEG technology, where they actually hook the muscles up to an EEG machine that can measure the output. So it measures the strain on the output of the muscle that's being done. So you can then derive from that how much strain is actually on the back and on the arms and on the quadriceps. And they found, compared to taking the same log and lifting it onto the same surface that simulated a log splitter, the reduction in back strain was up to 93%, the reduction in bicep strain was 76%. And then they did walking with it by your side, which is another great use for it, as you've seen in demonstrating your videos, being able to yard it from one point to the other without stopping and stooping. You just kind of grab one and walk with it. It was actually an 89% reduction in quadricep strain because you're not holding it out in front of you and sort of walking awkwardly. So we have also and that was peer reviewed and published in JIET.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to ask you about the university study because I was going to ask how that happened, but you just explained it. So that's fantastic. And it is, as you mentioned, it's very sharp. It almost, when you drop it over the round, it almost sticks to it like a magnet. I mean, it really just digs in, but yet on the other hand, when you go to release it, you can kind of flick it and gravity works with it and it just kind of releases. Sometimes it gets a little stuck because it's sharp, but for the most part, you just kind of with the push pull, a little wrist action. Yeah. You get a feel for it. Yeah. You kind of flick it up and push it out and it goes, the round goes flying and it's really neat.
I give credit to, have you ever seen Life in Farmland, the show or the channel Life in Farmland with Eric?
I have not seen it.
It's a great channel. And he was one of the first people who actually did a review on it. And because previously we were using our other hand to sort of lift up on it, which is, you can do that. And that's how you do it on a log splitter. But he was the one who kind of found the push pull method because he was picking up some smaller rounds and sort of like flinging them into the back to his truck bed. So like, wow, that's a great way of doing it. So he's kind of the inventor of that technique.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it is. It's almost, when you watch it, you would think there's some sort of release there, but it's not. It's all just in the action and the motion. And, maybe that was maybe just a kind of a byproduct. Like you probably didn't really even design that to happen, but it just works.
Yeah.
So I see Michigan Off-Grid Adventures. They just bought one. Very happy with it. Oh, shocked by how much easier it is to lift not only cut logs, but fallen branches. That's true. You can have, as long as the branch is big enough for that hook to grab onto, which is probably only maybe 2 inches would be enough. You can drag branches and anything with that. It gives you so much more.
That's a great, that's a great point. And even I'd say even smaller than that in circumstances, because you can sort of turn it sideways and lock in on the base of it. And so when you're dragging those branches, you can kind of turn it sideways and the body of it will kind of counterbalance the hook as you sort of twist the hook and drag it sideways like that. As you can kind of see it in the video there. What I like to do is, so if I've got some smaller stuff like some coniferous trees, is pile them on top of one, like kind of one main branch, right? And they all sort of like kind of pile up and then lock into that bottom branch and drag that bottom branch away. And then you're moving sort of the whole pile of them with you, which is, you can do, or you can you get a couple of them locked in and just sort of finagle the hook to get those locked in.
Yeah.
But it's really handy with those, kind of like 3-4 inch branches where it's hard to kind of get it under an arm and sort of drag it or like hold it with 2 hands or get your arms. It's great for dragging those too. And that really makes it a lot faster too.
Yeah. Somebody had mentioned log tongs, and it's a similar concept to log tongs, but you have sort of like a one-sided, well, that's the cant hook kind of thing there.
Well, yeah. So the thing about logs, so we used a pulp hook. So full transparency, I didn't really use the log tongs. I always kind of thought they were like a little bit goofy and part of the problem with them too is that they have that limitation, right? So only open up like say 12 inches or so. And with those, you also have to like lock your hands in, and the log is going to be perpendicular with your leg as you're walking with it. So you really have to be intentional with it and hook it just right and pick it up. And then it's also kind of an awkward position. So we used pulp hooks. That was typically what we'd use. We'd jam it in with a pulp hook, which if you've ever used one of those, as you're standing next to it and jamming down as it goes, a few inches from your shins, makes you cringe every time. That was basically what we did for the larger logs, and you grab the other side and sort of lift it up onto there. With the LogOx, I was reminded of this when I was trying feverishly to feed this new splitter that's so darn fast. It was just working the heck out of me. Even with the LogOx, I was reminded of just how sort of fire and forget it is to just go down, grab one just somewhere in the middle, and then just pick it up and put it onto the splitter. It doesn't have to be a precise every single time. It's going to, if you get it somewhere in the middle of it and just down and then up, all the way down, all the way up, it's going to lock in position for you.
Yeah,
and that's a lot easier than using the pulp hook or even a pickaroon. Some of these light pickaroons you can kind of wheel around. It's a lot safer too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've lifted some really big rounds with this thing that I would not have lifted before. And maybe I shouldn't have even lifted them now, because I mean, you used some of my footage on one of your ads, and I'm kind of using momentum and just slinging it, but I wouldn't be able to do that before. So again, you can't avoid hard work, but it makes hard work easier.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I always say it's a great tool, not a magical tool. No one else is going to do it for you if you're going to be the one using it. But whoever's using it's going to reduce the strain on them. And I don't know if you have one of our pickaroons or not, but So what I like to do is I like to grab, you have the hauler in one hand and then the pickaroon in the other, and I'll jam into one of the logs and then grab with the other hauler and then just take both of those. And we have some examples of that on our website. So you're kind of getting two for the price of one. And the pickaroon's great for unloading, trailers and stuff. Like there's still definitely a place for it. That's why we created the LogOx attachment.
Right.
And so we're working on another couple little attachments for that as well.
So speaking of attachments, there's another question from Michigan Off-Road here.
Sure.
I guess tell us what is there a base package and then you can add to it? Like the comment here is that they bought theirs from Amazon. They only wanted the base tool, couldn't find that option on the LogOx site. So you probably understand that more, can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think we were talking about is the LogOx hauler. So we sell everything kind of a la carte on our website. When we did because we want people to be able to, we understand that $289, it's a good investment. It's got a 90-day money back guarantee and a lifetime warranty, but that's a solid investment for people to make. Sure. And we recognize that. So we sell everything a la carte. We sell the hauler just by itself for $195, but we also have a hauler upgrade package. So say you got, and I think that's what he's talking about, just the hauler. We do sell it on our website. It's on there when you land it's up towards the top. We also have a forestry tool section where all the tools and accessories are, but yeah, that's there. And then we have a hauler upgrade package, which is also works with the previous version 1 hauler, so people can upgrade that, because we came out with a longer handle, so it's additional couple of inches, so it was a full 40-inch long cant hook, the new timberjack attachment, and then we also we'll basically research new pins. We didn't invent the pins; they're these sort of swing lock pins. When previously we were using this 2-part clevis pin, it was the only thing we had, but it was kind of terrible because you lose a part. Yeah, it was clunky. Yeah. But this is a one piece that just snaps in place and you're good, and it makes it a lot faster to go between pieces, as you've seen. So but we sell everything a la carte, including the LogOx attachment, and the bag, or we sell it together as a forester pack.
Great. So Kent has a question, and I can certainly answer this. It's not just for rounds. You can have partially split wood, and what he's saying is he I guess splits it on the ground if you have a really large round. 28 inches. But sure, you can pick up those partially split pieces, and my experience is it works the same way, just as good.
Because the physics of it are the same, regardless of whether it's a round or a split piece. If you lock it in place, it is going to and lift up with that handle, the way it's positioned, the way it's patented, we created it. It is going to lock into the pulp of that wood, because you're applying a counter pressure between the base, the toe piece, and the hook. So it's going to work for split pieces. It's going to work for, I don't know if he's noodling these with a chainsaw or how he's splitting them up on the ground to make them more manageable. But yeah, if you've got kind of a piece and a half like that, you can use it for dragging that or lifting it.
Yeah, my experience is as long as it can bite, and there's very little it can't bite into.
Yeah.
So,
and even say a 28-inch round or something like that, if you wanted to drag that, literally just putting it kind of on top at a sort of a 45-degree angle and letting it kind of bite into it and just getting a lock in, you can take that and drag it, which is, bring it over to a vertical splitter or a log lift or something like that.
I used it that way, and that was in one of my videos, which you might recall seeing that, but they were pretty large rounds.
Yeah.
And instead of grabbing it on the rounded part, I grabbed it on the very end.
Exactly.
Across the diameter. And with that, I was able to drag it where I needed to go. In fact, I had some pieces that were probably 4 feet long, and I would just grab the end and drag it right up the ramp of my trailer. And again, the only way I could have done it before, other than my tractor, my grapple, would be to either cut them up or probably roll them end over end. It wouldn't have been pretty, but it allowed me to do a lot more. That's for sure.
It's one of those tools where once you start working with, you're like, how did I do this before I had this kind of tool?
Yeah, I'm sounding like a LogOx fanboy here, but I
No,
really am.
no, I really appreciate that you did put it to the test in so many different ways, and I really give it a thorough review. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, yep. And I still, I'll be honest, I'll confess here. Sometimes my inherent laziness comes out. I'm like, and I start doing so when like, do I feel like going to grab the LogOx? Like, and then like I should grab it. But there have been times where I'm picking up wood thinking, wait a minute, just take a moment. The thing's packed up nicely in the bag, take it out
Yeah,
and use it. But
glad you did.
uh, it's great. So um, before we move on to some of your other products, is there anything else about the LogOx that you want to share with folks? Do they just go to your website and is it all pretty self-explanatory on there?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, the logox.com. We've got a lot more information, and you can read hundreds and thousands of testimonials, depending on the product, from verified customers, and determine whether it's a good product for you. We also have toll-free number that you can give us a call or reach out to us via email. We're also pretty active on social media at Big Blue LogOx on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So we're pretty active on those platforms. So you can always learn more about it. And we always love it when people tag us with the hashtag Team LogOx and share their experiences and their posts with it. It's always great to see.
And I should mention that when you and I worked together well, you provided the LogOx, I made the video, but you also did provide a discount code for folks, and I think that's still active.
It is.
It's code MCG, and I
MCG
think
10, I believe.
is that what it is? I just had MCG on my screen here.
Okay.
Maybe it is 10, but it's $10 off of a $50 purchase.
Yeah, MCG 10. I just checked it out.
Oh, I better update my my links then.
Okay. Yeah, apologies on that. Yeah.
So I typed in wrong. So keep that in mind if you're watching now and you want to check out the LogOx website.
Yeah, and we also offer a 10% discount for all U.S. military, active Guard, Reserve, veterans, and first responders as well through GovX.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so just click the GovX button on the checkout.
Okay, excellent. So in addition to the LogOx, I know you have some other products that go along with that. Which, by the way, everything that you're selling is made in the USA.
It is.
You're a New England-based company. You've got production facilities within the U.S. Tell me a little bit about your production model, fabrication, and where that happens, how that happens.
Yeah, no, certainly. So like I said, we're based out of New England. We're based out of Vermont. I live in New Hampshire. So with that, early on in the process, with myself being a military veteran and us, just family that values American-made products, we've always tried to buy ourselves. We just made the decision early on. We're going to make everything that we sell in the United States. Whether it's something that we're selling that has the LogOx name on it, or whether it's something like Granberg Alaskan Sawmills or Big Tool Rack or Sawhall or the LT Right knife collaboration that we did, all of those things, or Hudson, we're going to work with other companies that share our values, which is to make innovative, high quality products here in the United States. So yeah, we do. We have a manufacturing partner in North Carolina who makes our products down there, and then a company up in South Carolina, and then another company in North Carolina. Unfortunately, over in the Asheville area, called Cross Canvas, who we've been unable to get a hold of, unfortunately. So our thoughts and prayers are with them and that team there. So they're up right in the thick of it up in Asheville.
Yeah, I hope they're all doing well, and I know that the communication lines are really a big issue right now. So hopefully that's all that is wrong is the communication lines. But gosh, that's stressful.
Yeah, no, it has been. Yeah, no, I mean, I was myself. I was just there on the ground less than 24 hours ago. We went down to North Carolina. So to sort of back the story up, one of the other products that we're working on, we have been working on for the past year, has been a collaboration that we're going to be bringing to the Paul Bunyan Show this weekend with Timberwolf, the well-known log splitter company out of Marathon, New York, to create sort of the ultimate homeowner fire log splitting machine. We're calling it the TimberOx Summit. The task force, I was part of Task Force Summit in Afghanistan with 10th Mountain Division, so it's kind of a nod to that. And so, with that, we rolled it out. What we brought together a really great, very talented group of gentlemen as part of a design advisory board. The first one was Joe from Ohio Woodburner, Dan from Back 40 Firewood, Gord from GP Outdoors, who made the sign behind me. I saw one of your folks in the comment section noticed the laser nug.
This sign too. Oh, Gord hooked us up.
He did. No, he did. He made one for the TimberOx as well that we're going to be bringing to the show and showing to the show, the Paul Bunyan show, and other ones that we go to in the future. So shout out to him. And then also Josh from Stony Ridge Farm, the Stony Ridge Farmer is the name of his channel. And so anyway, he's down in North Carolina, and we rolled out the sort of a prototype, but we were really excited because Joe had set up the International Firewood Expo, which we're going to be going to next year. He really, I mean, for the first one of these things, he brought in, Yappa and Easton Made and, a whole bunch, and the chain locker guys, and just really a top-notch show that I'm sure is going to grow, and we're excited to go to next year as well. But we brought the prototype. It was still kind of early on. We still had like an 8 horsepower engine on it. We still had some different concepts and features that we've changed since then. But there was a gentleman there from North Carolina, from the Asheville area, who saw it, was like, I'll put $500 down, and I just want to buy one of these now and be one of the first people to get it. So,
nice.
So that was the first one that we sold. And so, in honor of that, we wanted to go and just deliver it. Matt Timmons, the president of and founder of Timberwolf, and myself wanted to go down to North Carolina, knowing that there was some weather on the horizon, but not really quite sure how bad it was going to be. And so we went down there on Thursday, traveled on Thursday, and linked up with Josh on Friday. And it was already starting to rain over it. He's over in the eastern part of the state, and it was already starting to kind of rain. It was sort of foreboding. And we shot some video, got his splitter, hung out with him a little bit, had a good time. And then we packed up all of our stuff and drove like 3 hours in the rain across the state. And now it's just Thursday night. And then just, to deliver this log splitter to the gentleman who purchased it on Friday morning. And that Thursday night, just all hell broke loose around us. And just a level of destruction that just human suffering that I haven't seen really since being in Afghanistan.
Wow.
To be completely honest with you, that just sort of transpired out of all that. And I was supposed to catch a flight out on Friday, and Matt was able to kind of make his way out of the area and get back up to New York over the course of like 2 more days. So he had to work his way up and kind of chainsawing his way out of it with the splitter that we were unfortunately unable to deliver that day. But and so anyway, they kept canceling the flights with that, and so I was staying at this area. The water was kind of rising. It got to about 10 feet away from the front of the place that I was staying. But I consider myself very blessed to have been in that situation compared to what some other folks were seeing around us, which they just absolutely lost everything.
It was a surprise to some of those areas.
It was.
Yeah.
They got 29 inches of rain in the course of several hours, and just the kind of flooding that they've never ever seen. And then because there's a lot of lakes up there. There's the French Broad River that goes through that area, which makes it a beautiful area. We've gone and done the Mother Earth News show in Asheville a few times. Just a gorgeous area. Biltmore Village, the historic center there, has been completely decimated. Chimney Rock,
right.
Just destroyed. But yeah, and so it was, and so eventually we brought a group of people who were trying to get to the airport because it was still online, just saying, hey, they're still selling tickets and everything else, and we led a small convoy of people out there, and we got there and turned in our rental cars. No one said anything otherwise, and basically walked in the door, and we're like, hey, I've got a flight at 8:00 tonight. Why is the TSA not letting anybody in? And they said, there's no flights going out.
No, you don't.
There's no flights going out of here. We don't have water. We don't have food. We don't.
Wow.
People have been here for the last 3 days. What are you talking about? I said, why are you continuing to sell flights? Why? I had a rental car. Why was the person at the front advising people to turn in their keys? I mean, what's going on? So,
Right.
But they just, and so anyway, I was able to link up with some folks who were heading east out to Charlotte, and caught a ride with them. And by the grace of God, I got out of there and was able to fly out and get back. But there's people that don't have anywhere to go or any way to get there because they're completely cut off in those mountain communities. And our thoughts and prayers are with them. I mean, it was just absolutely heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, I think there have been like 100 people lost in this storm,
and I think that count unfortunately is probably going to go
up.
A lot. Yeah.
Rough. It's rough. So, well,
but there's some great charities out there like Team Rubicon, which is a veteran-based rescue effort. There's a Convoy of Hope. There's a variety of other
charities out there with that. That's right. Excellent. Well, not to get off that topic. But I did share a link that you shared with me earlier to be on the wait list for this TimberOx.
Yeah.
So that's in the live chat now. If anybody wants to click on that, you can see that link for the wait list. What is that? Is that a pre-order page, or what exactly is that?
It's going to be. That's right now. It's just a wait list, and we're keeping people updated via emails that we're sending out to folks.
Okay.
And so as soon as that,
by clicking on that link,
no, not at all. It's just sign up to receive just emails about that product. It's really just that product. Okay. But we're going to be bringing it to the Paul Bunyan show. We're going to be at the Timberwolf booth, and because they're the manufacturing partners that we have with that, with that product. So we're going to be there and demonstrating it. What's that?
You mentioned that it's really geared for consumer use. I mean, it's probably heavy duty, but I think you use the term consumers. Is that right?
Yeah, and I like the term that Joe over at Back 40 or at Ohio Woodburner uses, which is the basically home production,
right?
Because it does serve that kind of crossover in the market. So just to sort of paint a picture of what we did here, and you can definitely go over and check out the link and see videos of it and stuff in action. We are going to be doing a lot more videos. Josh is going to be rolling out his video. We're doing a lot more videos and get photos and stuff. But it is such a new product that we don't have that content out yet. But just to paint you a picture, what we wanted a fast, ergonomic, really reliable log splitter that we could have that people could basically, and you'll love this. This will keep your garage a little less cluttered. We want it to be able to fit on a 48 by 40 pallet, and the way we were able to do that is we created a very large work deck. Okay, we put it 35 inches high, so like kind of a standard bar stool. Put the splitter controls sort of at elbow height, so you're at a 90-degree angle with your elbow operating. You're not reaching and leaning or doing anything funky like that. So you're there operating the controls, and with that large work deck, we put the cylinder right in the middle. So it's got a 4-inch cylinder, okay, and it's right in the middle of it. So the wedges right here, and the ram pushes through it. And as it pushes through it, the piston goes out the front, but the front has a folding work table. So the work table goes up, and it protects the piston as it's going forward. You never really see it. But that allows it when the table goes down, it's only 48 inches long. So you can store that. It can ship right to your door. In fact, we're going to be offering free shipping in the lower 48 states with it. It ships right to your door on a pallet with all you got to do is add fuel to it, and you're ready to go. It's nothing to assemble. It's right there. And this thing has we initially had a 8.5 horsepower Honda engine on it. And then we, sort of we're like, hey, we really need to have an American-made engine on it. Like everything else in this thing, that we could possibly get on here is made in the US. So we went with a 14 horsepower, 400 cc, if you will, Command Pro splitter or engine, I should say, from Kohler. And that thing is great. It also has basically a a variety of different features that make it very conducive for working in dusty environments. Like it has an air filter that's a cyclone, it's sort of called cyclone technology that
Uh-huh.
sort of filters out a lot of the debris that would otherwise hit your air filter. So it was just like, as we were examining, like kind of researching this more, it just became, the perfect option. And the fact it's made in Wisconsin by Kohler was just like perfect. So now it's a 14 horsepower,
Wow.
and it's a 22 gallon per minute in a 4-inch cylinder. So this thing is about as a 4.7 second cycle time at 26 inches fully open.
Wow.
So it's fast.
And you're becoming you're becoming kind of the ergonomic company, right? Everything you're doing is ergonomic
It
with the
is.
LogOx, the log sling, the splitter. It's all about ergonomics. So
It is, because it really the great thing about ergonomics is it doesn't really cost you much to add things to standard products. It's just the way that you configure them,
right,
right? So it didn't cost us anything to create, a control, or to create the height of it, to have it be the optimal height. It didn't cost us anything to angle and put the controls where, your arm or your elbows in a 90-degree angle, so you're not lifting it, you're not expending any energy trying to lift your arm and move it around. It's just there.
yeah,
When you sort of look at things like, how do we make this easier from how people are using it, and make it user centric? Because again, that sort of like laziness streak you were talking about earlier, we have that too, because we want to use this stuff too. We want it
right,
to be as easy as possible, because it's hard work at the end of the day, no matter how sliced it's going to be. So how can we make less strain and stress on your back, so that you're still doing the work, obviously, but you're in a position that you're not straining in weird areas that's going to injure
right.
you, or otherwise cause unnecessary fatigue. And so, yeah, so you brought up the WoodOx sling. That's another great one. And that was, again, replacing Austin, whose job was to walk down to the basement and bring up, big bags full of firewood. Is now falls on John. And so what he realized was he could kind of create like a messenger bag. And so
Right.
the strap goes across your body, basically goes under like in a sort of a U shape, and your arm goes through, um, basically almost like a sling, if you
Yeah.
will. And that hence the name of the product. And then you grab
Brilliant.
log splits right off of your pile, and you can fill it up. And oddly, paradoxically enough, it's almost like the more you put into it, the easier it is to use, because what it does is it kind of pulls your arm in. So people are like, "Oh, are you holding it up with your arm?" No, not at all. It's on your hip, and the rest of the weight's going across your body,
Kinda
and it kind of
cantilevered on
locks.
there, yeah.
Exactly. So it's going across your body. It's that kind of cross pressure, if you will, that locks it in place, and your arm is just kind of along for the ride.
I have not used one of those, but,
I'm gonna get you
and
one.
I'm relatively new to firewood processing. We bought the farm a little over a year ago. We've got 30 wooded acres now. We got the wood stove installed. So I'm committed to firewood. I've got now 4 or 5 IBC totes filled with firewood that I've been working on. Um, but as far as the sling, I still carry in the firewood in the crook of my arm.
Yeah.
And not only do you not put a whole lot in there, and it's heavy, but it's also dirty. Every time
Yeah.
I come in, and if you're wearing anything that's you know, the wood will stick to it,
And
and
it's also going to get all over your floor when
yeah, right,
so yeah, no, there's a lot of downsides to that, too. I
yeah,
take the bag over even that. But with this, what's nice about it is, yeah, it all of that dirt and debris, it all kind of falls to the bottom, and you can take it and fold it flat and kind of dump it right into a bin,
yeah,
if you have an ash bin or something, and
right.
then it just folds up nice and flat. We also added a flashlight to the arm, so right in the arm there's a little LED flashlight,
Oh yeah, I
and so
remember
you can
that.
kind of see where you're going. And yeah, and it's a nice leather pad that goes across it, keeps it nice and padded, so it's comfortable to use.
Earlier,
Um,
you said that necessity was the mother of invention, and
yeah.
I've often questioned: is it that, or is it laziness is the mother of invention? Like, how
Well, it
could we do
depends on how
this
you define
easier?
necessity, right? So if
Right,
your necessity is to do things
right,
as easy as possible, yeah, sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
A
Well,
few
I mean,
quick,
I'll give you another example of something that we had that wasn't so much ergonomics, but sort of like the fit of how things are fit, and going from like sort of a UX, a user experience type like mentality, because it was something that we needed to do. So we trademarked the slogan "Harvest to Hearth," because that's kind of the business that we're building from the ground up. Is
mhm,
when people are thinking everything from harvesting firewood to bringing it indoors to burning it, what does LogOx have? Do they have something cool and innovative and American made that can help me with that process? So we're building up from there. But the hearth portion of this, we created something called the hearth bin, And the problem that we were having, and John especially because he's got a narrow bluestone hearth, is once you bring it indoors, you're not going to just throw all of it into your stove or fireplace. You're going to want to stage it somewhere.
Right.
And so what we were ending up doing was kind of like stacking it by there. So at 3 a.m. when it goes out, you got to feed it. It's like but it gets dirt and crud all over the place. So what he created was the hearth bin, and it's got basically a base and then 2 sides that can kind of go out to about 45-degree angles, but they can also fold in. So you can fit it up against even a narrow hearth because the 2 sides are, fold out. Or you can have it be a standalone either by a Franklin stove or outside by your fire pit. Because it's powder coated in the summertime. So it works for all of those. But that's just another example of like, here's something that we needed.
Yeah.
So we created it, and lo and behold, other people need it too because they're doing the same kind of work and see value in it. So that's what we try to bring to the market.
That John's a clever guy, isn't he?
Sure is.
Hey, couple of comments I want to get.
We got to get him on next time. Yeah, we'll get him on. Yeah.
A couple comments. It looks like Phil from Peterson Farms of Nashville is going to be at the Paul Bunyan show, so that's great.
We'll be at the Timberwolf.
Say hi to you.
Yeah, please do.
Phil, I don't get any credit at all, but if you do go to the show and you see Austin, just tell him, hey, Ed sent me. I saw you on the live stream, but no credit here. It's just we're happy to see folks support this company and support this product. So hopefully you'll see some of our viewers out there at the show.
Yeah, no, please introduce and say, hey, I saw the last year with Ed. That'd be great.
And now you do. We mentioned you do ship to Canada as well, so your products are available there. Mark has a question here about your military discount. Does that apply to Canadian folks too? I don't know how that works.
Yeah. So yeah, fellow NATO members. If you reach out to us at customer service at thelogox.com, we'll hook you up too, Mark.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And it's
just that GovX is only it verifies your US military credentials. Yeah, okay. I believe. But yeah, reach out to us in email.
Didn't want to put you on the spot there.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And that was Mark.
Great allies.
So Mark, I hope you're doing well. I know he had a little bit of an accident a while ago, so we're still hoping Mark is recovering well. So I wanted to see if there's any other comments here, and then we'll do this giveaway here in a moment, which is always a fun way to kind of wrap up the show.
Yeah, Margaret knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, you do have to stage the wood, because it's like there's that last step. Even if you have something indoors that is kind of a place you pile up maybe a day or two's worth of firewood. You do want to stage it because like the fire starts to go out late at night. You don't want to have to walk outside to your pile or wherever else. So, you end up leaning a couple of pieces, but again, all that dirt and debris just kind of piles up and it's messy.
Yeah. And we like to keep, a good amount inside because even if your firewood is seasoned, it might be still a little damp. And of course, it's a battle to keep the house hydrated or the right humidity level. So if you're burning a wood stove and your humidity in your house is dropping down, then it kind of helps get that wood ready for the next load. I think.
Yeah, because you're keeping it like right next to that warm fire, is just roaring along. It's staged there. I mean, it does. You're right. It helps dry it out and get it ready to go.
Yeah. And going back to the splitter and talking about home production, which is kind of the category I fall in, we're just producing for ourselves here. It's interesting because I'm using a pretty generic splitter, which when I got it, it's like, this thing's great. It does the job. It's like a 25 ton, but the more you use it, it's like, this thing's a little bit slow, it does the job. And then ergonomically, I did add the shelf to it. So now I don't know how you could use one without any kind of rack on it at all, but I did add a little shelf to it. And then as I'm using it now, I also noticed that I'm kind of jammed up where the wheel is. I'm standing where I want to be is right where they place the wheel of the splitter for towing it around. So you can tell that it's an old design that it's like every other log splitter out there, but there was no thought that went into ergonomics and user comfort. It's like, it's kind of annoying. The more and more you use it, it's like this wheel's right in my way. So it's good to think ergonomically.
Yeah. And that was kind of what we started off with the premise when we brought those 4 gentlemen together along with us and Matt and the team at the team of really talented engineers over at Timberwolf. It was just basically like, hey, from the ground up, guys, you just throughout the rule book, like let's build from the ground up everything that we would want in a splitter that we would use ourselves. And when I say, home production, it's for people who are wanting to produce a lot of firewood, but then also people who maybe want to get into the firewood game because, it's those roadside firewood stands at, at five to $10 a little bundle.
Right.
That could be pretty lucrative, especially if you're in an area with a lot of camping and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where there's a
Can't say I haven't thought about that. So
yeah. And it comes in a nice crate, a nice like wooden crate. There's a Amish sawmill down the road from Timberwolf that makes these things, and you'll see Josh and we did a live stream with him, and he was unscrewing it and everything. I was like, man, this is great lumber that's with this. And so I what I want to do is eventually is put together a plan, like how to build like a a roadside firewood stand out of the lumber that you get your timber rocks, your timber rock summit in. Because there's a lot of great lumber there. But yeah, I mean, it really is for that person who values their time, values feeling good at the end of the day, and you can use your LogOx to load it. We're going to be rolling out one that has a log lift. That's going to be the HD version. We're also going to be rolling out one at the Homestead. We're going to be at Homesteaders of America a couple of weeks from now, not this weekend, the weekend after that, down in Front Royal, Virginia. We'll be at that show, and there we're going to be unveiling. And I haven't announced this anywhere, so this is an exclusive on your show. We're going to be rolling out an electric version of it. And by electric, I don't mean plug it into the wall. I mean it's got a 1 hour battery lifetime, or 1 hour lifetime battery that goes with it. So whole hour, quiet, perfectly quiet, clean, battery powered. So
that had to take quite a bit of R&D on that.
It did, yeah. So that's I'm cat's out of the bag on that. I'm announcing it on your show, Ed. We're gonna be bringing that to the show with us, and we're working on getting that done.
I gotta say that I was out using. We bought a Ryobi electric push mower. I guess it was last summer, and it's self-propelled. It's only 24-inch, and Ann wanted that rather than having the gas mower. Sure. I kind of thought it was a joke, but these battery-powered tools and equipment have come so far. I used it today for about an hour around the barn, and I couldn't kill the thing. It was really impressive, and I thought, I just can't believe we're at this point where it really is performing as good as a little gas push mower. So. Yeah. As time goes on, and again, I'm sure your research and development, you had to put a lot into this, but I think the technology is getting there, and obviously the supplies you need are being manufactured for us. That's exciting. That's and Matt Timmons,
all the credit to him on that and his team there. They've been on the cutting edge of that with their firewood processors. That's what they're really well known for, is their large firewood processors that they do there. And and they've been on the cutting edge with that kind of technology, that battery pack technology, and we're benefiting from that. Same thing with like the step wedge, for instance. So what you'll notice about this design too, and really talk about this, but it's got a very large wedge, and it's also got a large push block. And we actually have a patent. The overall design is patent pending, but on the push block, what you'll notice about it is it has this sort of circular ridge design to it.
I saw that in your video. Yeah,
it locks into the pulp of the wood, and so it's not going to run up the face of it, as people have seen. And sometimes that can be dangerous coming off there. And it's also ramming it into what's called a step wedge. So the first inch and a half splits sort of the bottom piece, and like gets it going, right? And then the rest of it just pushes it through. So it can really punch above its weight class, pushing very, very large logs, because you've got a 30-ton splitter, 14 horsepower, 4-inch cylinder. It really cooks. Even we were at Josh's place. We'll see the video, just punching through some incredible stuff with it. For such a small, you kind of look at it like this thing is only 48 inches long. It's such a small little splitter, but it packs a real punch to it.
Again, simple design, but yet brilliant. To think about that little step wedge. Yeah, kind of gives it like a little. I guess it's almost like a little pre-split.
It does. Where you're not, just gets it going. It breaks the moment of inertia and gets it going. And that's
kind of pushing against that whole. That whole face. So
and that's a bit of Timberwolf technology that was on their TW2, which is phasing out for them, that we brought in. So again, it was like all the stuff that we like, get rid of all the stuff we don't, and put it into this machine. Yeah.
You mentioned, I think it was Homesteaders of America in Virginia.
Yes, that will be.
Chris had a question about that.
Yeah, that'll be the weekend after this one in Front Royal, Virginia. And I think the tickets for that, unfortunately, are sold out. Those sell out pretty early.
Okay. Do they have multiple shows? Because there's one in Tennessee too, right? The Homesteaders of America, or is that a different group?
That may be a different group. That's I'm not sure about that one.
Okay, I know there was a big
Now
homestead.
there's different homesteaders there's like homesteaders in New England, so I'd imagine there's probably different regional ones. I don't know if it's affiliated with sort of Homesteaders of America,
Okay.
the organization, but that's their big conference that they have every year.
Well, look, Austin, let's do a giveaway.
Yeah.
You in for it?
Let's do it.
What I do every week is I give away stickers. So this giveaway tonight is going to include the sticker, but I also had these new stickers made up just for fun. You see this machinery may be addictive.
I like it. I
thought about that because I use my Bombalite mulcher or my my Woodland Mills chipper, and it's very addictive. So I'm going to be giving that sticker and this. But then you're participating tonight as well. Tell us what you have for us.
So we've got this lovely LogOx coffee mug, and
nice.
and these are handmade for us in Minnesota. I enjoy drinking from it. I was drinking from it earlier today.
Even the mugs are made in America. How about
nice.
that?
Everything we sell, every single thing we sell, which makes it kind of hard to source T-shirts and other merch and stuff like that. But Deneen Pottery out in Minnesota make these for us, and they do a great job. And this glazed.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how this works. If you are new to live, word or phrase, type that in. Now, this works only with YouTube and Facebook to be able to participate. So I'm going to share a word on the screen. Folks will type it into the live chat, and then we'll randomly draw the winner. So, and this is open to everybody. We'll ship to Canada, wherever it's got to go. Mm-hmm. So tonight's word is hashtag timber, Timber. Make sure you use the hashtag. It can be all uppercase or lowercase or a combination, doesn't matter. Make sure there's no spaces. Hashtag timber. Enter that in the live chat, and once we get to the end of this little background song, we'll draw a winner.
Watershed Overlook's got hashtag LogOx on there.
Chris is always joking
Bonus
around.
points for that.
Chris, you should enter because you can win there. So a lot of times folks who already won the sticker, they don't want to participate again, and they enter a funny word in there. But anyway, this is open to everybody. So make sure you type it in, like our friend David there, hashtag timber, all in uppercase. Margaret, hashtag timber in lowercase. That's how it works. Good deal. All right, so we should get about, I don't know, we've got over 50 people watching, so we should get a good number of folks participating tonight. So again, you've got the Homesteaders of America show coming up, and then the Paul Bunyan show. What else is on your schedule?
Paul Bunyan this weekend, and then Homesteaders of America next weekend.
Okay. Anything else going forward into the end of the year, or?
No, that's pretty much the end of our dance card for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And we, it's pretty busy for us, November, December time frame. So
well, that makes sense.
We're still a small company.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the crate that the TimberOx comes in.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way about my big tool rack when that came in.
Yeah.
I still have the crate that it came in, because I'm like, I can make a coffee table out of that or something. That's nice.
Yeah. We put it together with screws, not tacks, so you can just unscrew it, and then nice galvanized screws. And
nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit this
definitely make something out of that. Maybe we'll have like a contest so you can make the coolest coolest thing out of it.
All right. So our winner tonight is Mikey0011. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That is a previous winner, so I'm glad to see him win again tonight.
Cheers to you.
Here's the deal, though. Even though you won the sticker in the past, you're still going to win the new sticker and the mug. So what I need you to do, Mikey0011, is send me an email at contactmcgtv@gmail.com, and need your name and your mailing address, and I will forward that to Austin for the mug. I'll send you the stickers, and it's just as easy as that. So congratulations, Mikey0011. Look forward to receiving your email. All right. So, Austin, listen, our hour is up. I appreciate you joining me tonight. And
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I hope we can keep in touch. I'm looking forward to seeing how your new equipment kind of rolls out and how that goes for you and future developments. But you obviously are a person who doesn't sit still. So, you're always coming up
No,
with new
we're
things.
always moving, always innovating, trying to create and roll out new and useful products.
Good deal. Well, do keep in touch. We hope you'll come back and join us again.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Take care, Ed. Appreciate it.
Have a good week. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you being here tonight. As always, that was fun to have a conversation with Austin, and it's always good to have an interesting guest because I feel like they're more interesting than I am. So thanks for being here. Listen, have a great week. Again, for the folks affected by Hurricane Helene, know that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and just hoping the best for everyone there. There's just not much that can be said other than we're just hoping for the best. But thanks for being here. I do hope you have a good week. And as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.